Hello and welcome back to a new iRacing video. Today we are in the F4 at Road Atlanta. Qualified P9. It's decent, could have been better, but I'm not really quick at this track. Make quite a lot of mistakes, especially into turn 3. It's the blind corner, but the lights are already going on. And away we go. Not the best starting position, a little bit into the corner, especially when you qualify lower than you're completely in that corner, so that's not really a nice place to start. But going through turn 1, good. No hits for now, as they are wheel banging in front of me. It makes this blue car go a little bit slow. But I need to stay behind him, because this is not really an overtaking point. As I tap him on his rear, that made him spin out. That's completely on me, because I just went flat out and he might have a big oversteer moment. So I take full blame for it. But we are already up into P5, if I'm correct. Right now I was looking if he was completely out of the race or just far behind, and if I'm correct, he was far behind. So I hope he managed to get some positions back after that, as this blue-black car goes completely over the curb. So I get a run on him towards turn 1. He brakes a little bit later, but he is also going onto the grass. And when you go onto the grass, then you are completely done. There's not really that much that you can do. As I have a good run out of turn 3, taking the inside here on the purple car. So that means we have another position. Right now I was a little bit more careful going into this corner, because I already saw him having a little bit of an oversteer moment. I didn't want to make the same mistake again. So I have a little look here up the inside, try to push him into a mistake. But these cars don't really have that much slipstream compared to the Super Formula cars. So on this straight you didn't gain that much on the car ahead of you, especially because it's a fixed setup. I think in the setup race you do gain a lot more time, as I have a better run coming out of the chicane, going up the inside here of the Renault car. Also managed to get ahead of him. There's another car also going up the inside of him, and he was quicker than myself as well. I've a big oversteer moment. Another car is a victim of that corner, as he went into the barrier. Luckily I managed to keep the car on the track. We are now already up to P2 and catching towards P1. So we are now going into lap 6, got an off track. I think in the last corner, if I'm correct. I'm not really sure, but we managed to get a little bit closer to P1. P3 also right behind us. So I also need to look a little bit in the mirror if he is not sending it into a corner. I have a little bit more speed coming out of that uphill. It's really easy to get a big oversteer moment. But right now you will see how good the slips you miss in these cars, and it's not that good. Right now just 3/10 behind him, and about now you start to see that you are gaining a lot more time, as he's already is making a decision to defend the move here. But I brake so much later than he does, and he caught me by surprise there a little bit. But luckily there was enough room to get the car on the outside, as he has a lot more speed through the last corner there. So I already took the inside line here to defend the position, and we managed to get it into P1. And right now I was hoping that P3 he was a lot quicker than that I was. So I hoped he would have fought for at least one lap, so I could make the gap a little bit bigger than it was right now. Because then you have a little bit more space to make a little mistake and not immediately have a car on your inside or outside. So we sped up through the laps a little bit, because there wasn't really that much that happened. But right now P2 is just 1 second behind me, and with just over 2 minutes to go, about 2 laps, that was quite concerning, because he was quicker than that than I am at the moment. I couldn't really find the pace, because I'm also locking up, and that won't help as well, as my lap times could have been at least half a second quicker. Because 21 low was what I did in practice. That was with a setup, so that might have helped a little bit as well. There's a car going off here. That was a really scary moment, because I thought he would just send it back onto the track, onto the racing line, and then it was game over. But we are now in the last lap, and we just have half a second behind us, so it was quite tricky. There was no room for mistakes, so I survived this corner, and that's basically where I made the most mistakes, as well as into this corner. Well, not mistakes, but these massive oversteer moments that you can get throughout here. Sometimes I saved it just because my elbow is going into my ribs, and then I could save the oversteer moment. But for the rest of this track, it isn't quite easy track. Just turn 3 and left uphill corner. As we go through the chicane, just slow and steady, and we managed to get through there. And we also managed to get another P1, and I was quite happy with that. Coming from P9, just survived and do the best lap times I could have done. So we managed to get into the 21s at least one time. So let's see what race 2 has to offer. So for the second race, quali didn't went too well. I messed up again. So we are in P17. That's quite far behind. But the lights are going off. We have the annoying start into the last corner. But we already managed to get at least one position and another one. Right now it's just staying calm, just stay out of trouble, because I already did another race as the fourth car goes off here, gets spun around by the car that's ahead of me. But I already did 2 races before, and there are again 2 cars going off. One is completely done, and this car goes off as well. So quite a lot of chaos in the first lap. But as I wanted to say, I already did 2 races before, but the audio recording didn't work. And in that race, one of them, I also started P15, and after the first, literally the first corner, I was in P4. So I knew in these 2 races, after that one, I knew just stay cool into the first corner. Then you can already gain a lot of places, as this guy has or a slowdown or some damage. You will see that in a second if he goes into the pits. But as you can see, if you just survive the first corner and first lap, then you already, well, in my case, you already gain 7 positions, and that's just for free, as the Mercedes car goes off into the grass, and it's quite hard to save it when you are going into the grass. So that means that we have another place gained. So already up into P9. We are also catching the guys ahead, because my overall pace wasn't too bad compared to these guys. So we should be gaining some more places, as we are going a lap later, already close to the guys ahead. Into the chicane, there's a little bit of trouble, as there is a car that spun out, maybe on exit, maybe because they touched, they come together. but that's another free place for us, so I'm quite happy with that. And we all so catched up with these guys. And we need to think about making a move on the Alpine car. He goes a little bit wide, the car ahead of him goes completely off track, so he will get a slowdown for that one. That should mean that we already gain one position, so I have a lot better exit out of that corner. So we are already side by side, as he is staying on my inside, but he doesn't really have the run there. And the other white orange car went really slow into the hairpin, so I didn't know what happened with him, but we survived. Luckily I saw it just in time, so I could move towards the inside and overtake him, as the blue car behind me has a lot of overspeed, just not enough to send it down the inside into the chicane. As I'm now under pressure from P4, cannot really gain on the guys ahead. So he has a little look on the inside, but messes up, and that gives us again a half second. So right now need to make the gap as big as possible, but he was quick and I wasn't too quick again, being in the 22 lows. So that is at least 7/10 lost every single lap. So I'm still struggling through this corner. I just cannot find the grip, and maybe the braking too early or too late, taking too much speed throughout the corner. As he is going a lot quicker through there. He's already gained 3/10 on me just through the first sector. So maybe I should let him go and then try to stay with him and then catch up with the guys ahead, because we're in P3 and we can easily get towards P2. We are working a little bit together. He doesn't really have the overspeed, so I decided to let him go and hope that he stays on his pace and I can just drive behind him as close as possible. Maybe he will drive a little bit away from me, but if I can stay within 1 second, then I would have been pretty happy with it. Again, a little bit of an oversteer moment there. This track is quite difficult in the F4. I only drove it with the F4 car, so I cannot really say whether that's with every car, but I might need to practice with some other cars. But he is not really driving away from me right now, as I'm also 3/10 down on my time, going for those 21s. And I hope that he would just let me go right now, as I did in the last lap, so we could give each other the slipstream every lap. And he does, but I lock up a little bit too much there, so that means that I lose quite a lot of time, and he's already up my inside. And ahead of me, but we didn't lose too much time with that lockup. So again, really close there, a little bit too close, getting a warning there for contact. But as you can see in front, the guys in P1 and P2 are not really driving away, but we are also not catching. we are fighting way too much to catch them. As you can see, already half a second up my time. And if you compare that to their times, then I think I might lose at least 1 second. But again, on the back straight, having the slipstream overspeed, and he lets us go. And that's basically what I wanted to do every lap. But we were not quite catching them. We were fighting more for this position than we could gain on them, as he goes onto the curb and into the grass. So that gave us some breathing space and free air to try and catch up with the guys I had. Still doing 22s. I'm down on Delta, so that's a positive thing. And we are slowly catching, as they are now 3.3 seconds ahead of us. But the guy behind me will catch us later on in the race. So into the final stage of the race. Going again into turn 3, way too much curb there. So taking my first incident point of the race. And the guy behind already catched up with me. Really bad exit here. He has a lot of speed coming out of the corner. So already on my outside here. Again, let him go. Because I'd rather have P4 than nothing. And you got the straight here, so I could take this as an advantage, as I thought we were already on the last lap. So I knew if I have the overspeed here, then I can just send it into the chicane, and then we also have P3. But when I came across the start finish line, I realized that this was going to be the last lap. So I had to push for just one time and really not make any mistakes here. So he is really close to me. Gives me a little tap here that messes me a little bit up too much. So I decided just to cut the corner. But as you can see, we get the slowdown. That is just really unlucky. But I tried. Maybe if I made it to the line, I don't know what happens if you get a slowdown and you are going across the line. If you just get a penalty or a disqualification. But at this moment I knew I couldn't make it. So I just decided to go onto the brakes. Just 5 seconds to go. Just on the last 2 or 3 tenths I managed to give the time back. Of course lose way more than 1.2 seconds, but that's just what it is. A little bit unlucky there, but sometimes those things happen. especially if you do more races, then those things just happen. But still, a P4 is really good. From further back, coming back to P4, that's a really good result. I was a little bit mad, to be honest, because of that that moment. We had a really good fight with each other, but looking back here, I think it was just a little bit of netcode, so just a little bit unlucky.